And I'm thinking, Connie, I could have got out a whole bunch of torture if I just had answered all the questions that I've been answered. Allegiance is doing something, not talking. And then I repented, but not entirely, because then I said, Connie, we don't have a flag. And he said, yes, can't you imagine one? And I did. And put my hand over my heart with them, and we said the Pledge of Allegiance. And you know what happened? It wasn't like I was fighting that war alone anymore. I was on a team. And so that was the pattern that continued on, and until all those 2,029 days have passed. And the camp commander, for the first time, let us all outside together and talked to him. He said, "You go home tomorrow." Somebody said, "Don't smile." Yeah, in fact, the next morning the gates opened, a bus came in and gave us a real shirt and a pair of pants, and we hopped on that bus and drove across the Red River to the airport in Hanoi, which is on the other side. And as we drove down that road, which was lined with trees, a tail, this C-141 stood up above it, and somebody jabbed me and said, "Hey, look at that flag." Well, the tail has got a flag on it, I guess about like that, painted on it. And it looked as big as a barn door. And to eyes that had been used to the dim light of the prison and brown and no color and dirt, it was startling and brilliant. I think all that just kind of part of this change that happened. Well, I was with the third group to be released, but the first group out, well, they kind of got released and the order got shot down. And when we flew from Hanoi to Clark Air Base in the Philippines, and the airplane landed, they said, "Get the order, you got shot down. We want to introduce you as you get off the airplane." My experience was I immediately went into shock and stage fright. I just, from being in the prison system and then taking this big worldly stage and being announced as you get off the airplane was just almost too much. But anyway, in that first group, the first guy in line should have been Everett Alvarez. Poor guy had been there 9 years. He got bumped by another Navy officer, Captain Jeremiah Denton. Denton later made admiral and became a senator from Alabama. But he put it kind of said the right words as he stepped from that airplane, got to the microphone at the bottom, and after the crowd kept yelling, "Welcome home," and all that, and he said, "It has been an honor to serve this country under difficult circumstances and in difficult times. We are grateful to our Commander-in-Chief and our nation for this day. God bless America." Yeah, I think those are the right perspective, an honor to serve. As we were on that airplane leaving Hanoi, we hadn't been airborne very long until one of my friends, Ken, said, "Hey, look at this," and he handed me an envelope. It had his name on it. It was kind of a thick envelope that had something inside of it, and I read this, and I don't know how anybody organized this to get this letter on this airplane, but it was there, and so I read it. It said, "Dear Ken, you don't know us, but you're part of our family. Enclosed here is a bracelet that has your name on it, and we've worn it. We're so happy you're released and you're coming home. I thought, what? You mean people that don't even know you care about you? Pretty touching. And so in my life, when I got home, I started getting these kind of letters, and to my amazement, Memorial Day this year, I get this letter in the mail from Iowa, from a secretary in school. It says, oh, the Vietnam Wall just came through town, and I had your bracelet, and I just wondered, I thought I'd look up, I couldn't find your name on the wall, and I'm glad it wasn't. Anyway, so she did some research and found me and sent me that. Man, that's a long time ago. That's the kind of people that I appreciate. Or make America great. Well, I appreciate not being hungry. Oh, golly, it's so good not to be hungry. In the POW camp, my stomach would always hurt. Yeah, I'm really grateful for hot water. You know, the difference between the haves and the have-nots, hot water. Just think about when your hot water doesn't work, you know. Yeah. And I used to just marvel every time I turned the shower on, it was hot. Because I remember those January days in North Vietnam, I sucked the water out of the well and poured it all over me and just about going into shock. The steam would rise up. And, not being too hot or too cold. Yep, and I think I'm more grateful for America, and too bad that it's been so long ago and I just am kind of normal like you. Well, I do love America. And you are a marvelous group. I'd like to kind of end with some words that I learned from the Freedom Foundation of Valley Forge. They let me take a group of high school students back to Valley Forge and walk where Washington had his troops wintered at Valley Forge, and so I came to appreciate them a lot more, but they had kind of condensed one of Washington's remarks, and it was a prayer. And I'd like to close with that. He said, I now make it my most earnest prayer that God would hold the United States in his holy protection, and that he would incline the hearts of the citizens to develop a spirit of affection and love for each other, and that he would most graciously be pleased to dispose us all, to do justice and